5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So we have just taken off, y'all. How are you doing? Good? We doing good? Good. All right, so let's get started. So who here loves to travel? Raise your hands. Yep, yes, exactly. Now, who would love the opportunity to travel for work? Exactly. Who wouldn't, right? So you are about to enter a journey with us that's going to take you through the decision-making process and the opportunities that you can gain through an expatriate program. So we are the Carson Rockets, and my name is I.
I'm Daniel. I'm Ovidio.
I'm Nate. I'm Spencer.
And we're going to get started. So what is an expatriate, some of you may ask? So who here knew what an expatriate program or what an expat was before this class? Yes. Good, that's great. But just like you all, a lot of us didn't know it either. So when we were coming together to figure out this program, we were kind of blindsided. But after going through our research and putting this together, we've truly gained a passion for this program and the opportunity that we as 20-year-olds can gain while we enter the workforce. So basically, an expatriate program is something that's been growing over the past years, but it gives you the opportunity to travel to outside of your native country for an extended period of time. This can include a year or multiple years, and basically it gives you the opportunity to diversify yourselves, but also that, a way for you to better promote your business and add value to your shareholders.
Okay. So I just gave a good definition of expats, and hopefully we can use that as we move on to our activity. So what we're going to do, we passed around worksheets, and if you guys can now take a look at those. In Management 456, we've done strategic compensation, and a large portion of that class was going over different benefits that employers are providing. So we wanted to kind of put you guys to the test and have you guys pick out the top 3 benefits for each of the 4 locations we're going to be going over. Okay. So it's important to think of yourself in your 20s, think of your lifestyle, think of, maybe some of you are married, I know this one person is. Take each benefit in consideration to find which ones are the most appropriate for the 4 locations we're going to go over. So then if you guys want to work with some people around you and kind of discuss, that's fine too. And be ready to debrief after each location and at the end of the exercise.
Alright, so let's take a trip up north to Toronto, Canada, which is the heart of the Canadian working world. It's one of the most multicultural cities to live in, with almost half of the 2.8 million people that live there being born outside of Canada itself, which makes it one of the largest cities in the North America. Toronto has a lot to offer for us Cougs, with a waterfront that has beaches, parks, marinas, trails, amazing food, and a great nightlife, with popular bars making it easy to enjoy the gorgeous scenery and some outdoor adventurous life. If for some reason you do get injured enjoying the outdoors or traveling, enjoying the city life, there's a publicly funded health care that gets automatically deducted from one's salary that offers co-pays at little to none. It's also quite expensive to live there, so you got to keep in mind that when you are working there, you must save up a little bit and not blow all your money on that adventurous city life to be able to afford bills and stay there.
Cool. So now that we know a little bit about Toronto, like I said, pick the top 3 benefits, look through them, and think of the ones that are most appropriate for this location and the most appropriate for your individual lifestyle. We're just going to take a little bit of time here, and then I'll have a couple of you share maybe. Okay, just for the sake of time, it's going to get easier as we go to the next locations, but what is an example of a benefit that you guys thought was good for Toronto or a similar location?
I said housing, because you guys mentioned that it's expensive there, so.
Okay, that's a good example.
I did increase salary because we say it was more expensive to live over there.
Awesome.
I said tax equalization, because I know taxes in Canada are a lot higher than it is in the States.
Okay, that's a really good point. And yeah, so yeah, our breakdown, we're not going to be able to include every little topic, so I'm really glad that you touched on that. That's good too. So yeah, I think you guys are getting the point activity. We want to make sure that we're picking benefits that are most applicable to us in the location. That's perfect. We'll move on to the next location now.
So we're going to take a trip over to Asia, specifically Tokyo, Japan. Japan is a marvelous country among the mountains and surrounded by the sea. It brings awe to its visitors and its citizens. But don't leave just yet. Don't get your passport just yet. As with any expat assignment, you do want to do your homework before you go out there. With a strong presence in the tech and manufacturing industry and a heritage with deep roots, this assignment would be suitable for a younger person driven, that's ready to immerse themselves into a new world and that's ready for that expat challenge. Japan has a rich culture in the arts, cultural heritage. It has great works of arts and literature, and it's also a staple in world arts and things of that nature. Something unique about Japan is actually its work models. It has two unique work models in Japan work. It is the simultaneous recruitment of new graduates and lifetime employment, which is basically they get graduates as soon as they get out of college, and they keep them in that company for the rest of their life. So being an expat, it'd be a little bit different, considering with the culture that the Japanese are used to, so that is something that you should definitely look out for.
Okay. So now we have a breakdown on Japan. You can kind of see the correlations and the differences between Japan and Toronto. Go ahead and think of the same thing, a few benefits that you think are more appropriate for this location. Okay, who wants to share a couple benefits? Yeah.
I kind of emphasize the more of the language classes and the cultural and customs training, because I know, if you're not from Asia or just from that kind of culture and those standards, like it's a completely different world. And I think, if you're going to be successful in that, you need to know how they run things, how to speak to them, and just all those things.
Absolutely. Let's get one more.
I went for housing as well, like in Toronto, because I think Tokyo has a very limited space and housing prices are probably almost as high as in New York or something, so that would probably be a help.
We'll move on to the next location.
Yes, so now we're going to travel on over to South America. In the beautiful destination of Peru, there's a few factors we want you to consider. So first, their healthcare system is one of the lowest fairly financed in the world, and that's just due to the fact that Peruvians earn too little to be able to pay those high benefit costs. Additionally, a factor to consider is that there are high levels of poverty within the area. However, one major difference that you'll be able to experience in Peru is that Spanish is the primary language of both business, government, and education as well. So if you were to be able to come here, Spanish language would be something that you would be able to immerse yourself in. Additionally, one cool factor is that they have a diverse business etiquette, which differs from the United States. So for an example, instead of us using resumes, we would be using business cards there, because that's something that really leaves a good impression to employers. Additionally, the normal appointed time to show up is 1 hour later than what's stated. And that's just the social norm within Peru. And last but not least, you'll be able to really experience a rich heritage, whether that's through art, the landscape, so you'll see Machu Picchu, in addition to the folktale and the traditions that they have within their culture.
Yeah, so definitely some stark differences there. I wouldn't recommend showing up an hour late in Japan to a meeting. Same as before, 3 benefits. Just some seconds. All right, what do we got?
I'd say language practice is like they primarily speak Spanish, and if you don't understand that, it can be rude and also very hard to do.
More?
I said health insurance, because I don't know what kind of health insurance they have there,
Yeah.
so that would definitely be important to me.
So Zai definitely emphasized that their health insurance isn't the best compared to some of the more larger, more financed countries. So that's definitely a good one. Okay, and we'll move on to the final location. So the final location is London, and what I really want to emphasize with London this is for us 20-year-olds who really want to go into a professional space right away, because London has locations with all Fortune 500 companies, which are the 500 largest US companies. 75% of them have a location based in London, so you have a lot of networking and opportunities there. However, the con is it's extremely expensive. You're right in the heart of Europe. It's the most expensive city to live in Europe. It has a large population, about 8 million. And you have to think of all the things that come with it being expensive. I mean, if you want to live close to work, you have to be right in the city, and that's going to be more expensive, and then you have to deal with the traffic. and the commute times and everything like that. So I think, yeah, that's just about it for London. So if you want to be a professional, this might be the option for you, but go ahead and think of those 3 benefits. You have to keep in mind it's very expensive. All right, what do we got? Yeah.
I'd say increase salary because it's one of the most expensive places to live.
Okay.
I just chose the housing one because I don't want to have to, look for a place. I'd rather the company like provide me with something.
I went with relocation a little, it's maybe a little bit cliche, but with Brexit, I don't know if it works with having the working visas, and if they help me with that, that'd be great.
Okay. So hopefully you guys now have a bit of an understanding of, we're putting the benefits that we learned in class into action. And it's important to emphasize that these are just 4 examples of potential expat opportunities. There's many more locations that you could go, but hopefully you've now kind of seen what kind of matches your lifestyle more. Like if the professional might be in London, somebody who wants to have a fun nightlife might choose Toronto. Somebody who wants to be cultural diversity could choose somewhere like Tokyo, etc. So when you have these interviews, or when you have your meetings with your boss, and you're discussing the benefit packages and where you could go for expats, we're hoping that you can kind of take away something from this activity.
Yeah, so we just kind of want you to talk in little groups or maybe with your partner next to you. Kind of think about what kind of conclusions can you draw. So for example, what are the opportunities and experiences you are going to gain if you are going to be able to go on an expat assignment through your company? Or for example, what kind of benefits did you notice was something that really stuck tight with you, something that you know personally would really help you wherever you go? So just take a few minutes, kind of discuss with your group and see what you all find.
Take about 15 more seconds or so. All right, everybody. Sounds like there was some good discussion there. Hopefully it was our activity. So what conclusions did you guys draw from this?
I said that you can't just have like one universal plan for like every expat. It kind of depends on a case-by-case basis where they're going.
What else?
Going along the lines of that as well is that it kind of depends on the individual. Like someone might not have a large family, and so they might not need the family benefits, and so another piece might be more beneficial to them, or vice versa. If you do have a family, something like that would be beneficial to you, and so just the options and personality to it is important.
Right. Anything on locations? Did anyone find a location that really stood out to them, or maybe a place that they said, no way, not for me?
If I were to do it, I would choose Canada because I don't like to fly that long. So that's, long enough to do that.
Sure. Yep.
I'm just going off of experience, but I mean, if my company, wanted to send me overseas, I'd probably choose London, even though it is super expensive, but it's very similar to New York, and everyone speaks English, and so like the language barrier is not much different, besides like certain things here and there, but there's a personal preference.
Any other last ones? Okay. Well, those are some good takeaways. We also prepared what we believe are some really powerful messages as well. So we're going to go ahead and share those now.
So how could being an expat actually impact your career? There are a variety of contributions and rewards that you'll receive from within your company. depending on what your destination is, as you looked, like London has high living costs, like might get a COLA for that or something. And also, you may also lead to annual bonuses and lump sum awards. So to your career in general, it'll include acquiring soft skills, which give you the ability to connect, communicate, and network internationally at a very stronger level than others and other employees that you work with. And you're also able to gain intangible knowledge and become more attractive to other firms within your market. So traveling abroad for your company can also provide invaluable resume experience and can help fast track your way up a company's promotional ladder.
So now that you guys know how it can impact your career, let's focus on something a little bit more interesting. Yourself, how would it impact you? For one, it would broaden your cultural knowledge. You know, being placed in a completely new place, it's like immersing yourself in a new world. You're learning their culture, their traditions, the little things. In, for example, just in Japan, like you don't want to show up an hour late to a business meeting. And also, one of the questions that my teammate here asked is, if you guys like to travel, and guess what? It gives you the opportunity to travel, and if the best part about it is that you don't have to dig so deep into your pockets, because there is housing allocation costs. If you do market adjustments to make sure that you are receiving the benefit for going out there and actually doing that something. And finally, just experiencing living in a new place. You're immersing yourself in a completely new place. You're learning different traditions. You're learning a new language, which is just adding on to the benefits that you get, those new skills that you're gaining, and you become an international business leader. So, nothing to complain with.
So after traveling around the world with us Carson Rockets, you definitely need something for your journey in order to answer any questions and get an explanation of all the factors that you guys are going to need on your journey abroad.
So now that you guys have hopefully learned what Expats is, some opportunities, and maybe some implications that come with it, is there any questions for us? Yeah.
Were any of you guys raised or impacted by an expat?
So Ellie was a big part of, and unfortunately she couldn't be here today because of roaming, but she really wanted to, that's why I'm recording this for her. But she was an expat, or her family was, so she actually went to Peru, as well as, I think she took Congo even, for a short period of time. And that definitely played a big role in our research and some of the outcomes she spoke true to her, like the cultural diversity, etc.
Yeah, she was also saying that because she grew up in a family that her dad worked as an expat, that she was actually able to land a job offer based on her history from that and for her cultural diversity that she grew up in.
Other questions?
What types of companies or industries are more likely to offer this type of program?
That's a good question.
So it actually varies by industry. So Canada, for example, it's more business, communication, IT, aerospace. So those are kind of some industries to give you an example, but it actually really depends per location that you go to. And as Daniel touched on, in London, a lot of those Fortune 500 companies, some of the largest companies in the world have locations out there. So that gives you a pretty big, broad explanation of what kind of industries are out there.
Yeah, more and more countries are going global with technology and everything else, so that, I mean, you have to have expats who can diversify themselves.
Yeah, oh, just to add one more thing too, and we just wanted to bring it to your awareness as well, so that you all can feel inclined to maybe ask your employers, you know, you have a dream company you want to be at, or maybe that's really what you want to experience through a company. Always feel free to ask that, or think about those kind of things when you consider where you want to go.
Do any of you guys have an opportunity with your jobs you're working after college to work internationally or experience an expat?
I know the company that I'm going to when I graduate is, right now, it's national, so probably not, but that's just mine.
So I unfortunately haven't landed a job yet. A couple of interviews with a couple companies that are international. So definitely, if I do land that opportunity, I'll definitely be interested in bringing that up to them, because after doing this presentation, I'm actually very interested in traveling for a job.
Any final questions?
I'm sure there's probably at least one more out. I'll ask one while that person's putting that one together. Tell us about this brochure.
Okay, so the brochure, basically we want this to be an extra tool that you can take home. It kind of reiterates a lot of what we talked about today. It gives you a general definition of expats, but it also kind of provides you some resources and ideas of what to research. You know, when you go home and you decide, hey, you know what, maybe an expat is something that I want to do. This can get you started on what to be looking up, what to be addressing, and then finally what to talk to your employer about. You know, like, are you sending me to a safe place? Am I going to be provided the benefits that are needed for me to live in this area for an extended period of time? Am I in a position with my family and my life where I can go? So this brochure hopefully can kind of be a tool to start paving the way. Then of course there's contact info where we can follow up with any other questions.
It's a little overview of what we kind of presented you all with today. So like he mentioned, if you ever have any questions or you kind of need to refresh your memory on like, what did we talk about today? The brochure is definitely a good touch-up for you all.
Is there like a certain package like for each company? Is it just different? Like I've heard like most places they will pay for your housing and relocation, but is that for like everybody or it just differs?
I think it definitely differs. I think the relocation costs are pretty standard.
Yeah.
And then I also would like to say that for an expat, many a times it's going to come later in your career. It would be really nice to us for all being in our early 20s and travel, and that is an opportunity in some places, but for a lot of those places, they want to make sure that you've already had experience, that you're a valuable asset to the company before they send you over too.
Are expatriates only in for-profit companies, like are members of the UN considered to be expatriates?
That's a good question, and that's definitely something that we could definitely research more. Unfortunately, we don't have the answer for that. That would be great, but thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Okay.
Well, thank you all so much. It was a pleasure.